21 new heroes have come to us from PAX. Stay tuned to see them all. Hi folks, I am Dibok and welcome to the Artificers Guild, the home of all things Artifact. With information of 21 new heroes, including abilities and premier cards, we have a lot to cover. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it, starting with the 4 house-based basic heroes. Our first is the black hero, Riley the Cunning. He is of basic rarity, and he's not the only one. Basic cards, if you don't know, will be available to everyone. They are the absolute most basic of cards, and anyone who has the game has these heroes. Riley the Cunning has 7 attack, 0 armor, and 5 health, and his ability, Work the Knife, is a continuous effect that gives Riley +2 damage when attacking a hero or a tower. So he's kind of like a mini Saw Khan crossed with a Phantom Assassin. Perfect for a creep turned into a hero, under the guidance of other black heroes. Now, this is actually deceptively strong. He's one of the only units that can one-shot a 9 health target. So watch out Chen, and a couple of others as you'll see further on in the video. However, 5 health is very low, so you do need to be careful when using Riley the Cunning. His premier card is No Accident. For 3 mana, it deals 3 damage to a unit. Now, Riley has quite a strong ability, so it seems fair that for a basic hero, his premier card is lackluster. For example, the blue spell, Tower Barrage, does 2 damage to all units in a lane for 3 mana, which is by far much better than this card. But, as I said, as a fledgling hero, this is fine as a spell, and combo it with himself, it can deal 12 damage to a unit. Moving on to our next green hero, Farben the Dreamer, another basic hero. 4 attack, 0 armor, and 11 health is nothing to laugh about, and his ability, Pack Leadership, is a continuous effect that grants allied neighbours +1 armor. However, it will be pretty bad versus piercing, but then even at 11 health, you don't have too much to worry about. Farben's premier card is Prowler Vanguard. For 4 mana, summon a Prowler Vanguard. Now, the Vanguard's ability itself also gives allied neighbours +1 armor, so it's just a mini Farben basically, with 0 attack and 8 health. This is a really good blocker, and it's strong versus other green heroes, but high stat heroes will still be able to one-shot this thing. Moving on to our first blue hero, Jahmai the Wise, another basic card. 3 attack, 0 armor, and 8 health, with an effect called Wisdom of the Elders, which is an active ability that lets you draw a card every 4 turns. Now, most players haven't seemed to be complaining about a lack of cards in their hand, so a 4-turn cooldown, draw 1 card, with only a 3 attack does seem to be a little weak. I see this being good for people who don't know how to save their resources, but especially bad against black and red one-shots. Also against creeps because he can't kill them and he can't even kill any heroes himself. Jahmai's premier card is Battlefield Control. For 1 mana, choose a unit and choose a combat target for it. Now this actually makes Jahmai a little more viable. It's basically new orders, but unit, not ally. So this is really strong against red, because red relies on being able to control who's battling who. However, you do have to worry about the sheer amount of control red has over who combats who. So make sure that you are the last person to be using battlefield manipulation. Our first red hero is Keith the Bold, the final basic hero in this list. With 6 attack, 1 armor, and 11 health, you might think he is by far the strongest of these units. But, just like Axe, he has no ability. In fact, he is very much like Axe, just with slightly weaker stats. If you haven't seen it yet, we've just released our Axe hero preview, so go take a look at that and it'll certainly help you with Keith the Bold. His stats are a little worse than Axe's though. Axe has 7 attack, which means he can kill the likes of Earthshaker and Rix, whereas Keith's 6 only lets him kill units like Solar and Bloodseeker. He is very strong early on though, and nothing can kill him easily. He will let you dominate a lane. Keith's premier card is Fighting Instinct. For 5 mana, modify a red hero with +1 attack and +1 armor. In comparison to Axe, I much prefer Berserker's Call, but +1 armor is pretty strong. And modify persists after death, which is something else we've learned from PAX. This is a really good card on himself or Axe, as it buffs them up to 2 armor, meaning creeps don't do any damage. But this does fall off later in the game, where +1 attack and +1 armor won't be too helpful. The first of our regular heroes is the blue hero, Meepo. Meepo is a rare hero with 4 attack, 0 armor, and 5 health. He has 2 abilities, and is the only hero we know of so far that has such. His first ability is Poof. Move Meepo to an allied Meepo's lane, and deal 2 damage to neighbours. And his second ability is United We Fall. If one Meepo dies, they all do, no matter whether they're immune or anything else. If you're unfamiliar with Meepo from Dota, then this will make a lot more sense as soon as you see the premier card, but for those of you that do know, it's going to be hard to utilise Meepo here, But if you can protect him with a swarm of other units, or if you can use Poof very, very well, then Meepo can actually carry you in the late game. Meepo's premier card is Divided We Stand. For 4 mana, summon a Meepo. So with 3 of these spells, that means you can get up to 4 Meepos on the board, who all count as heroes. So Meepo starts incredibly weak, but eventually with 4 of these poofing to one another, it could easily be game winning. Our next hero is Necrophos, a black common hero, with 5 attack, 0 armor, and 6 health. His ability is Sadist. Modify Necrophos with +1 health after an enemy neighbour dies. So he starts off pretty weak, but once you kill a few creeps, he can become an unstoppable tank. And flavour wise, this is one of my favourite adaptations from Dota, because it's much the same there. Once he gets going, he does become pretty unkillable. Necrophos' premier card is Heartstopper Aura. For 4 mana, modify a black hero with deal 2 piercing damage to this hero's neighbours before the action phase. So this effectively adds another ability to a hero, and it's actually really cool. You see the little ability icon as well. This is obviously very great on Necro himself, as it complements his Sadist passive, allowing him to kill enemy neighbours and then buff himself from them. But you've got to make sure that the hero you put this on survives, much like Luna. Because it triggers before the action phase, if they're dead, that's not going to trigger. Our next blue hero is Earthshaker. He's rare, with 2 attack, 0 armor, and 7 health. His ability, Fissure, stuns Earthshaker's enemies for 1 round, with a 4-turn cooldown. Now, we've seen this utilised quite a lot of packs, and it has huge effects. Say you've got 2 enemy heroes opposite you, your tower's getting low, you stun them with Fissure, then they cannot play any spell cards, they can't activate any items, they can't use their own hero's abilities, the only thing they can do is equip items, and that's not really going to be that useful if you can't activate them. Not to mention, in combat, they don't do anything either. This is fantastic with a hero that needs protecting, because stunning enemy heroes stops him from doing anything at all, but he does have very low stats, so he's only strong through his control, and through his premier card, Echo Slam. For 7 mana, deal damage to each enemy equal to the number of enemies. This is everything we ever wanted it to be. We even got to see him on stage with the first huge Echo Slam, which absolutely annihilated all the units in the lane, freeing up the win for the Earthshaker owner. This is incredibly strong against lots of units, however if the opponent is trying to use Swarm, they will try and play around it, so be sneaky and utilise Phase Boots and Blink Dagger. Karna is our next blue hero. She is rare, with 2 attack, 0 armor and 12 health. We're not entirely sure as to her ability, but the image is of a dire creep. Does this mean spawn creeps, control creeps? Who knows? In fact, if you do have an idea, let us know in the comments below. 12 health is crazy high for blue though. They struggle to cast their incredibly good spells because of weak heroes that are easy to kill off. So utilise Karna to cast those big spells, and their enemies can't even stop them. Karna's premier card is Prey on the Weak. For 4 mana, summon a Hound of War for every damaged unit. We don't know the stats for Hound yet, but Lycan's premier card also costs 4 mana for 1 3/3 unit that buffs itself. So maybe we're going to get a number of 3/2s or 2/2s or something like that. This is really strong against a lot of enemy creeps, but it's also really weak against itself because it also spawns a number of creeps, which if you can damage them all and the enemy can play Prey on the Weak, then they get a load of hounds. Our next blue hero is Karna's counterpart, Prelex, an uncommon hero with 3 attack, 0 armor and 5 health. Also, an ability that looks like a Radiant creep that we don't know what it does yet, but maybe it's like the reverse of Karna's. This is also the creep that Simon imagined Alexa to be in our latest lore video, so we weren't too far off at all. Prelex's premier card is Barracks. For 5 mana, summon a melee creep into this lane each deployment phase, and it is of course an improvement. So this improvement guarantees units in your lane, and Prelex seems to be able to affect them somehow, so hopefully she works well with Barracks, but be careful of anti-swarm. We've already seen a lot of mechanics out there to stop it, such as Earthshaker and Karna. Our next green hero is Magnus, a rare hero with 4 attack, 1 armor and 9 health. He has no ability, instead he has pretty nice stats, especially for a green hero. He is great as a green bruiser, and is the closest they have to one. But be careful of Phantom Assassin, because she can actually one-shot him. Magnus' premier card is Empower. For 4 mana, modify a unit with +3 attack and +3 cleave. Now this is why Magnus has no ability. This premier card is really strong. Modify persists after death, and it states a unit, so you could even use it on a creep too. In fact, if you use it on Magnus himself, it turns him into the ultimate bruiser. Axe won't even be able to stand against him. Our next red hero is a new face, Mazy, a rare hero with 6 attack, 3 armor and 6 health. It also looks like Mazy has no ability, but we haven't actually seen this card in-game, just on displays around the PAX booth. Now, Mazy is definitely a small something in some sort of mech, but as to what Mazy is, we have no idea. It doesn't look like your typical Keen. Mazy's crazy high armor will allow you to take on many smaller enemies, but it will struggle versus Pierce. In fact, just 2 hits from Eclipse will kill Mazy outright. Mazy's premier card is Steel Reinforcement. For 4 mana, your tower has +1 armor. Simple, to the point, and pretty darn strong. Tower armor, so -1 to every tower hit. This is great against swarmy decks, but anything else that's hitting a bit harder doesn't seem to mind too much. In fact, in a lot of the PAX videos we've seen, towers have died with an extra 10, 15, 20 damage to spare. Our next green hero is Abaddon, one of the many common heroes, with 4 attack, 0 armor, and 9 health. Again, his ability we're not sure of, but it does look like his Dota 2 ultimate, Borrowed Time. Now Borrowed Time, once he gets low in health, would automatically trigger, or you could trigger it early yourself, and any damage he took, he would actually heal. Abaddon's stats also put him at that perfect point of 4 attack, where he can kill creeps in one shot. But he is going to be one shot by Phantom Assassin, and by Riley. But otherwise, he's a great face to have on the board. Abaddon's premier card is Aphotic Shield. For 2 mana, purge enemy effects from a unit, give that unit +2 armor and +2 retaliate. Now purge is a new keyword, and it's fantastic against negative modifiers. This potentially removes negative armor, it should remove stuns and silence at least. Purge is going to be incredibly strong in this game, but you've got to time it right. It's also not too useful against beefy units that don't really care about retaliation or armor, they'll just beat right through it anyway. Lion is our next common black hero, with 6 attack, 0 armor and 5 health. His ability is also not confirmed, but it does look like Finger of Death from Dota, which is an incredibly high damage single target ability. So just like other black heroes, he's high risk and high reward, with both his stats and his condemning sort of ability. Lion's premier card though, is Mana Drain. For 2 mana, give the enemy tower -2 mana this round, and your tower +2 mana this round. This is incredibly strong. If you use it on round 1, that's 5 mana for you and only 1 mana for your enemy. Use this to interrupt enemy combos, or set up your own combo, knowing the enemy cannot counter it. You can even use this with Crystal Maiden to completely abuse the mechanic and gain 2 mana back after casting the card. Omni-Knight is our next rare green hero, with 5 attack, 0 armor and 12 health. Also, we're not sure of the ability, but it looks like Purification from Dota, which is a single target heal. So we have a beefy green healer that can tackle creeps and block really well with 12 health. Omni-Knight's premier card is All-Seeing One's Favour. For 4 mana, modify a green hero with allies have +2 regeneration. So this is a brand new keyword, regeneration. We're not entirely sure what it does, but maybe it recovers X health at the start of each action phase. If that's the case, +2 regeneration on allies is fantastic. And this would work wonders with his healing ability to help keep an ally in a lane up. Just make sure he has a friend to use it on. Our next black hero is Sniper, an uncommon card with 5 attack, 0 armor and 6 health. His ability is also unconfirmed, but it looks like Headshot, which does damage and currently is a slow, but it used to be a mini stun back in the days. When using these low stat black heroes, be careful of bruisers, like Keith and Axe, and also Magnus. If Headshot is what it used to be, the old mini stun, then it should bring some control to black, and currently we only see Earthshaker with this style of stunning control, so it'd be nice to see a bit more in the game. Sniper's premier card is Assassinate. For 7 mana, deal 10 piercing damage to a unit in any lane. And I am so happy this exists. Sniper is one of those heroes that is annoying. He's supposed to be annoying, and nothing starts a tilting-induced rage more than losing your own win condition from the other side of the map. Our next common red hero is Ursa. With 7 attack, 0 armor and 10 health, Ursa's ability looks like Fury Swipes in Dota, which in that game ramps up Ursa's damage when he keeps hitting the same target. So for this reason, Ursa will likely want to stay in battle with 1 unit, making him the ultimate tank buster. Ursa's premier card is Enrage. For 4 mana, give a red hero +4 attack and +4 armor this round. This totally fits Ursa's focused damage style, but it's also fantastic with the red card duel. +4 attack and armor, and then forcing this hero to fight an enemy hero is fantastic, and this is before the combat phase, so you can wipe them off the board, and then the buffed unit can set their sights on something else. Our next black hero is Winter Wyvern, an uncommon card with 6 attack, 0 armor and 6 health. His ability looks like Arctic Burn from Dota, which is a movement ability with attack range, slow, night vision, and a damage over time. This honestly does everything. And with his mediocre stats at 6, 0, and 6, I wouldn't be surprised if this was actually quite a good ability. Winter Wyvern's premier card is Winter's Curse. For 6 mana, disarm a unit until the end of this round. Then that unit's allied neighbours battle it. It's important to note here that it disarms a unit until the end of the round. So yes, you can weaken an enemy by making its neighbours battle it, but then during combat it is still disarmed. Our next set of heroes were all seen on a promotional artifact banner at PAX, so the cards were not actually seen and we don't know their abilities, their premier cards, or their rarity. The first one up is Bloodseeker, a black hero with 8 attack, 0 armor and 6 health. These stats are naturally good versus low health heroes, and he has the same stats as Karna. But there are quite a few heroes that have 6 attack, 0 armor and 9 health now. Lich and Pugner, just to name a couple, who can kill these statted heroes without dying themselves. The next of these heroes is Enchantress, a green hero with 4 attack, 0 armor and 8 health. In Dota, Enchantress is focused around manipulating enemy creeps and a lot of healing, which fits in quite nicely with the green theme. Our next revealed hero is the black hero Lich. With 6 attack, 0 armor and 9 health, he's got the perfect stats for taking out some of the more risky targets. And with 9 health, there are only 2 heroes we know of so far that can one-shot him, Phantom Assassin and Riley the Cunning. Our final hero is Drow Ranger, a green hero with 4 attack, 0 armor and 7 health. 4 attack is the magic number for hitting creeps. However, she does have less health than quite a few heroes. So does that mean her ability or premier card are going to be better? Are we going to see precision aura and marksmanship that really help her buff herself and her allies? Only time will tell. So there are our 21 new heroes. As you saw, there were lots of rare ones in there, but don't worry too much, as you do get 1 rare per pack, as well as common, uncommon and even basic heroes. I want to say a big thanks to artifactfire.com and artifactwiki.com who provided all the card images for me. Now, here's a question you didn't see coming. What's your favourite new hero? I have a soft spot for Earthshaker and I can't wait to see some $6 million artifact echo slams. So he gets my vote. Who gets yours? Thanks for watching. If you'd like to help, feel free to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell icon. If you like this video and if you'd like to see some more, then check out our most recent video, and here is a related video we think you might enjoy. So take a look. I've been Divok of the Artificers Guild, and I will see you next time.